11 point something million liters daily. We're subsidizing for 2 years effectively. Second issue is looking at the expenditure profile. Uh, in the past 2 years, we spent close to about 3 trillion on subsidy. That money should have gone to better things. That money should have gone to improving our refineries. That money should have gone to improving downstream. That money should have gone to healthcare and other issues. If people are buying at 120, 175, 800, 900, that tells you that the problem is not about the pricing, but the problem is about supply. What's making supply difficult? Now, marketers are like every other agent, they are in the business to make money. If you haven't been paid for what you supplied and you owe a bank and the bank is not giving you money, you will not bring in new products. It's as simple as that. If we have a situation where there's verification, there's no good process of checking what was bought in against what should be imported, how do you ensure that the next person will bring in new products again? So when people say they buy at 110 at depots, it's not a lie. You can't sell less than what you're buying. And then apart from Lagos and Abuja, where else have you ever actually bought at 87 naira or 97 naira? Apart from the city centers, as you travel further out of major cities, you buy at higher prices. And there's never a scarcity in those areas. There's always scarcity where there's a fake subsidy, as I say. Second reason again was when, for political considerations, the last government removed 10 naira from the price. So effectively, from 17 naira a day we were doing, we're now doing 27 naira a day on, per liter on subsidy. Those are things where political consideration not really economic. So for the government starting now, it's time to address subsidy frontally. Do you want to continue a situation whereby you need to depend on middle marketers to bring in products for you? Do you want to continue with swaps which haven't benefited the economy? Do you want to continue with not giving local refineries enough crude allocation to develop anything? Do you want to ensure that you open the sector up so that people that have licenses can invest in it and build more refineries? Do you want to have modern refineries? So issues are large and wide.
But Mr. Adigo, remember the strikes of 2011, and the government did promise to do certain things so that subsidy can be removed gradually. I think that was the promise that was made at that time. And one of those things was making sure that the refineries start working again. I wouldn't say that government has kept its side of the deal, and we're back here again. And you seem to be advocating removal of subsidy altogether. Am I correct in reading that meaning to what you said?
Yeah, very correct. The issue right now is the refineries were built how many years ago? The average, the youngest of the refineries was built maybe about 31 years ago. The question you ask is, if the refineries were working at full stream, can it meet the local demands? Is it enough? Is it sufficient? If we put everything into it, it's not sufficient. Let's say we produce through refineries 80 million liters. And right now we consume about 46.9 based on the average from PPRA. Where do we get the bridging of that 30 million liters from? It has to be imported. It has to be bought from somewhere. The question again you ask yourself is, over the years, government has spent money on refinery repairs from the days of Abacha to Obasanjo to the last government. What has happened? What has happened to the money we spent? The question you might think is, are these refineries actually functional? Are they designed to be on forever? I mean, I hear people from the sector telling us...
Sorry to butt in, Mr. Adigu. You're talking about refineries built 31 years ago. What is wrong with building new refineries? An entire country, Singapore, lives on nothing but refining oil, and yet they don't have 1 barrel of crude oil. That's what the country survives on, just refining crude oil for people like us who don't have the sense to set up our own refineries, even if they are modular refineries in different areas of the country that can feed the local areas. Everybody comes to Lagos. Lagos is permanently clogged with tankers loading oil, especially now. Try and get to Papa now. You can't get there. They're all there loading to distribute to the whole of Nigeria. Let him finish, please. Yes, Mr. Adigu, I'm waiting for your response.
Yeah, my response is simple. We have a situation whereby Nigerians, we are not really honest with ourselves. I mean, we have this kind of arguments we just made where we say government must build refineries, government must do this, government must do that. And you think same government must fund education, same government must fund Medicare, same government must fund this, same government must build roads.
Sorry, I didn't say government should build refineries. I didn't say that.
Oh, okay. Why? Oh, yeah. The question you ask is simple. Where in the world did anybody build a refinery when it can make money from subsidy? Why would you invest in a refinery when there's subsidy available for it to make money from? It's an economic decision. Why would I invest my funds in a long-term venture of 4 5 years when there's a 3 month venture I can make a lot of money from? That's the question we're not answering. We're giving licenses out. We have about 15 licenses given out in the past many years. How come nobody has invested in it if it was so profitable? That's the first question. The second question is this. The Nigerian model, the NNPC still controls the downstream. Several attempts to privatize the downstream have failed. Since 1990, every report commissioned by the government or by anybody says, let go of the downstream sector, you cannot play in it, it's expensive, it's a drain on resources. Has it ever happened? As soon as it's attempted to take place, people come around it. There's a cabal that doesn't want, cabal for lack of a better word, who don't want these things to happen. There's easy money to be made. Economic decisions go to where there's easy processes. Nigerians now, we're suffering this thing because we haven't built more. We haven't built more because there's no reason to build more when there's no finance to build more, when there's opportunity to make money from subsidy. If I put $1 million down and make $3 million in 6 months, why would I put $10 million to make $2 million in 10 years? It's simple economics.
Mr. Lawe, maybe we should bring you in here. You're one of the major marketers.
Yeah.
And why do you think those that have been licensed are not building the refineries? He's saying that it's possible that they're more interested in, if I can import, I'll make more money, and within a short time frame, instead of going to build a refinery and make my money after 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, let me build on what he has said. The issue really is, if I build a refinery and government is telling me to sell at a particular price, then I have to look at the bottom line. If it doesn't pay me, I'm not going to build that refinery.
So you rather stick with importation than build a refinery?
Because if you say sell at 87 and then the cost to me is about, say, 90, it doesn't make sense for me to build a refinery.
True.
So first and foremost, we must go back to the model we had before. Those of us that are a little bit old know that there was deregulation before. There was no subsidy in the oil sector. The idea of subsidy started around 73 when PEF, that's the Petroleum Equalization Fund, came on board. All right. Otherwise, before then, it was really a deregulated sector. At that time, the price in Lagos was different from the price in Ibadan. And it was so beautiful. It was beautiful because you go to a station and depending on the nature of your car, you could buy a regular petrol or a super petrol or 5-star petrol, depending on how sophisticated your car is. So you can pick. It was there. So we should go back to the position.
So you had different pumps in different stations.
Exactly. All right. And then if I choose to do regular, then it's my choice. Okay. So the actual point is that we should go back to a deregulated sector with strong regulators. Okay. For example, I see my own sector. I see DPR there, I see PPPRA there, I see PEF there, and I see institutions that can only back. They can bite. There's nothing that enables them to call any player to order.
Why is that?
For me, political
but influence. These officers are not political officers. They are civil service officers.
Oh, the heads are appointed politically. Okay, so if PIB is passed, it tends to resolve some of this because you will no longer have PPPRA. One of the P's will remove. It will become Petroleum Products Regulatory Agency. It's no more pricing. Okay, so they will be there. They will combine the functions of PPPRA and the downstream functions of DPR, where, like the NCC in communications, they could call anybody and say, you flouted this. You are either fined this amount or we seize your license. Okay, we should get to that point, that institution that is going to regulate that sector is made strong, virile, and viable. Until then, you are not. If you deregulate and you don't have such checks and balances, then you have not done anything.
We'll come back to you
because
the
first thing you asked,
yes,
why people the license, people that have collected licenses have not come. The second reason is this, and I want to be very frank. There are some of the people that collected licenses that are not sincere. And that is why we need a strong regulator. Some of them